was at the end of the day. But nothing, what the results will stand, what happened on the water remains. There's no protest, but it was just, you know, one of those issues.
Did you actually protest them at the time?
Yeah, it was a protest, it was a green flag, and play on.
Excellent. Well, it certainly looked pretty exciting from where we are, and that's quite a technical issue as to who has right of way around which of the two marks. Usually you just go around one mark. If you're on the inside, you get room, but with 2 marks it's a little different. Get slightly geeky for us.
Yeah, it does get a bit tricky in this course, and the wind conditions can change quite quickly, so yeah, you've got to really have your wits about you.
And your new helmsman, Peter Burling, he, for lots of people here were in at London 2012 at the Olympics, where we were in Weymouth. He did a great job, got a silver medal, but he's been climbing the mountain pretty quickly. It's very impressive to see, right?
Oh yeah, he's been on fire. Like literally, he's won every event since the Olympics, 18 in a row. He's on a fantastic roll.
And what's it like to sail with him?
Oh, it's good. He's just chilled. If he makes a mistake, he's sorry guys, on to the next move.
And now you're tactician on board the boat, so you decide where the team goes, who does what, and just talk to us about the conditions out there on the water, what you saw, where the opportunities were, where the snakes were, where the ladders were.
Well, the main thing out there today is the current coming in does a big turn and then comes on the harbour here. So there was a big gain on the right-hand side of the course to stay out of the current. So that was our main strategy, was to protect the right when we had that opportunity. And once we're sailing around the course, Peter's very much in control of wind tactics as well. We just feed information with what we see, but most of the time we sort of head down scrambling.
Well, we're going to throw you into a dangerous endeavour now, because we're going to take a question from the crowd. We've got Helen out there. Helen, who have you got? What's your question here for Ray Davies, tactician aboard Emirates Team New Zealand?
Ray, I promise it's not a scary question, because I've got a fan of yours here. I've got Jenny, who's come down from Essex to watch today. Here she is.
Hi Ray, yes, a huge fan of Team New Zealand and lots of your fans here today. Just a quick question, when did you think on that second race that you had it in the bag and you were home free?
I thought you were going to ask for Blair Tuke's phone number. Okay,
she wants yours, Ray.
In the second race, we never thought we had it in the bag. The gains and losses are so dramatic, and one crew manoeuvre error, it would have been all over. So, you know, just racing right to the end. Once we got around that final gate to the finish, that was it.
Excellent. Well, you sailed that race beautifully. I mean, that worked out great for you. The start was good, right? And you went from there.
Yeah, no, the start was good. We continued straight and rolled soft bank, and then deployed the zero and had a really nice lane. And by the time we sort of looked up, we were half a leg ahead.
So Ray, we were dipping in and out of some of the TV commentary. We couldn't listen to too much of it because there's this incredible noise that's coming off the boat. Tell us what that noise is and why you hear it.
Oh, just breathing, probably. Heavy breathing. Is that what you're talking about?
There's a bit of heavy breathing. There's a whistling noise through the rigging or the foils.
No, once you get foiling, the foils make quite a noise. The faster you go, the louder the boat is.
And how is it to sail the boats? When you're off the foils, you're sailing along like anyone is used to sailing the boat. What happens after that?
Yeah, we call that mode old school, when we go into old school mode. And then we start foiling, and yeah, the boat just, initially it's not much faster, but then it really takes off, and you know, the boat goes, other than the whistling noise, you know, pretty quiet and no spray, and you have a cup of tea. Like it's pretty nice.
So the foiling is actually more stable once you're up on the foils and you've sort of got stable flight. That's what you like.
Yeah, these boats have a long way to go to be really well balanced, but compared to the 72 and what our future America's Cup boats will be like, they'll be rock solid and yeah, very comfortable yachting. And I imagine in the future there'll be some offshore foiling boats that will smash the world records.
Now, just to throw back a moment, I'm sure you've let it go a long time ago, but you had a dramatic event in San Francisco for the last America's Cup. You were tactician aboard that boat on the AC-72. You were 8-1 up, but unfortunately couldn't win another race to take it across the line. But there was one crucial moment during that series where you almost capsized the 72-foot boat. You were hanging on the side like a mussel on a rock. Just tell us how it was and what you did to avoid the capsize.
Yeah, it was a bit of a rush tack with a port starboard incident, and our wing needs to be, the camber on it, the shape of it has to be ground through with the hydraulics. It doesn't just go through by itself. And we went into attack and the wing was inverted the wrong way. And we just had to keep grinding on the hydro to get power to get the wing to camber back the other way, and that saved us. So extremely close to a capsize.
It was incredible for those of you that saw it. Anybody who's got a question for Ray, stick your hand up. We've got a question for Ray. Helen is around. Where are you, Helen? There you go. Have you got a question down there, Helen?
Yeah, I've got my hand up. I've got Richard here with his question.
Hi, I just wondered if you had any advice for my two boys to get into the America's Cup sailing.
Here they are, right here. Can you give them a job, Ray? Just here?
You got some kids who want to go America's Cup sailing. What is the best way we've got loads of young fans here. How do they get into sailing and how do they climb that tall mountain to get to where you are?
Look, the best way is having a day like today, because they will never forget it, and hopefully that's the inspiration that's all they need to have some role models to really want to take it on. But what an amazing event we've had today.
And when did you start sailing? Yeah, give them a hand. Everyone in Portsmouth here put on super event. When did you start sailing? How young were you? Which boats did you go through to get yourself here?
Oh, probably similar age to those guys. I first started sailing with my old man, and then eventually started sailing by myself. But yeah, it seems to be getting younger now, but I was about 8 or 9 when I really got into racing properly, and then I haven't stopped. 43 now.
Yeah, he's still got his hat on. You'll be able to tell he's 43 if he takes his hat off. It must be the new wind speed, right? Just blows it all right out. So we've got some other guests to come up. Let's get them up. Let's play some music, and we've got Kyle Langford from Oracle Team USA up on the stage. Take a seat here, Kyle. Great to see you. Look at that. Still friends. Nice to see you, Kyle. Great. Take a seat down here. And we've also got David Freddie Carr from Land Rover BAR from the home team. Look at that, spontaneous cheering, mate. It's like you're sitting on the pitch at Chelsea, right? He's an Arsenal fan. So we'll start with you, Kyle. An interesting day today for you, for the defender of the America's Cup. You're here putting together your team, and you're just weighing up your opposition that you're going to be racing against one of these teams in Bermuda. A little bit of an up and down day. Talk us through it.
Yeah, it was a really tough day for us out there today. We were first to the reach mark in the first race, and I turned around and was like, oh geez, we're in a pretty good spot here. And then we drived over and saw Team New Zealand foiling down the course, and we were stuck in a big hole and pretty much went from first to last in a matter of seconds. So it was tough out there, and yeah, full credit to these two guys who won the day. Basically, they really outsailed everybody.
So when you come around that mark and you're in first place, you've got two choices, right? You either carry on or you jive, and you decided to carry on.
Yeah, no, we decided to go straight, and I guess we've got three choices. You can pull the Jennifer out as well, and we didn't pull the Jennifer out, we continued straight, and it was a big loss. That was a mistake on our part, and we suffered the consequences of it.
Now, just talk us through the role that you do on the boat. You're the wing trimmer, and you famously got subbed in halfway through the last America's Cup to trim the wing, and you were part of the winning team that turned it all around. Just tell us what you do on board the boat, and what are the intricacies, what do you have to get done?
Yeah, so I work trimming the wing, and kind of in charge of the boat speed on board and making sure we're always going fast. The tactician puts us in the right place on the course, and on a day like today it's pretty hard to keep the boat going on its feet with such gusty conditions and the breeze is up and down, so I actually spent most of the day winding the runner up and down and grinding the wing, so it's just a full frenzy out there, and not much time to get your head up to breathe.
Okay, I'm sure Freddie Carr, Dave Carr's got something to say about that. Go on.
I love it because Carl's normally just sitting at the back of the boat, easing a bit of the rope and telling all the other grinders to grind. So to hear that he had a tough day on the water is justice, to be honest.
He broke his sweat. Well, ladies and gentlemen, winning the day today out on the water, it is Land Rover BAR. We have our very I've got to say, I've seen a lot of races, I've done a few, and that was unbelievable. The comeback was quite remarkable. Tell us how you did it, because the first race, we'll start with that. It looked like you were right out the back. You were sixth around the first mark.
We felt like we started the boat really well in both races, and we didn't really approach the reach mark that well. And particularly in the second race, we did a jibe set much like Oracle did in the first race and went from first to last. But we feel like we've got good boat speed up and downwind, and we're confident with our boat handling. And we feel like whenever Ben asks us to do something from the back of the boat, that we can kind of front foot it and get some good corners in. And as we know in these foiling boats, that there's hundreds of metres to be gained and lost in the corners, and the boat speeds are very similar. So no, we had a solid day, but we've got to keep our feet on the floor, and it's looking like big breeze tomorrow, and we're only a third of the way through the regatta in terms of the points up for grabs.
So where were the moments where you actually made the biggest gains, either the first race or the second, because you were pretty deep in the second race too?
I mean, to be honest, it's so hard physically to sail these boats with the code zeros up and down, getting them up and down and in and out, and jibing the dagger boards and the runners up and all that kind of nonsense. And we committed early to getting the code zero up in the first race, and we were the first boat to get it in the sky and did a jibe set onto it. And like you said, Andy, when we did our jibe set, we were pretty deep. In fact, we were last, and by the time we got to the leeward mark, we were in second with a couple of nice jibes. And much the same in the second race, we kind of got the code zero up and working, and a couple of nice jibes, and sailed through the fleet. And that's a really hard thing to do on this small boundary race course. And Giles Scott, our tactician, picked a couple of beauty shifts up the last beat of the last race, so I doff my hat to Giles for sure.
Yeah, it was great work. It was remarkable to watch. We were on the edge of our seats. We were looking at you so deep, and you came back out. Right, I think we got Helen out now. Where's Helen? You got a question from one of the Uber fans, I'm sure, for Land Rover BAR. Helen, take it away.
I do, and I just need to first of all give a message to Mr. and Mrs. Perkins, because your kids have snuck off to find me to surprise you, and they have a question for Freddie. This is Archie, who's 8, nearly 9, and Sophie, who is?
I'm 11.
Okay, Sophie, and what's your question?
What inspired you to sail?
What inspired me to sail? I guess I was a bit of a rogue when I was a nipper. I was always messing about, and Mum and Dad wanted to get me out of the house at the weekend. And I grew up locally. I grew up in the Emsworth area, and there you go. That's half the village. Yeah, I went down I sail at Hayling Island Sailing Club, and that's been my home club my whole life, and I love it down there. And that's half the sailing club. And I spent until I was about the same age as the nippers. I didn't want to race. I just wanted to swim in the lagoon and capsize and mess about. And then I slowly got into racing, and sort of here we are, 6 miles up the road, racing in front of this cracking crowd. So yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's great.